Father's loving blessings. I'm just playing. That's a shout out to my boy, because he's always showing birds. Anyway, Chop's mesmerized. He always chases the squirrels and the pigeons, though, and I have to get him to stop. But he doesn't bother the sparrows. I'm gonna keep it short. There was something that I was going through a time of stress, and I feed the birds right outside my house. If you follow my channel, you know how important birds are to me, even though I don't fully understand everything. I just think that they're more than just wild animals, but I don't know exactly what that is either. But I was going through a time of stress, and the verses about being worth more than many sparrows kept coming up in my life. Like God was, trying to comfort. He was speaking to me, trying to give me some comfort, and the thought came to my mind that the other verse about knowing that the verse about, do I not feed the fowls of the air, about they neither sow nor reap, but I take care of their food. Will I not feed you? And as I was going through this great time of stress, that verse came up. And it was, I don't know if you call it a synchronicity, if you call it not like a mandala. What are those paintings that they keep? It's a mandala or a mandala, but it's like it just keeps going within. And as God's speaking to me about, trying to give me these verses of comfort, and He's like, I take care of the birds. And I had this thought pop in my head of how He was using me to feed, and I enjoy it. I appreciate it. That's a part of the relationship with God, that you do things for others, and others do things for you, and for God, and God for you. I mean, it's a relationship, and so I don't know if I'm explaining this in the most beautiful way possible, but it was I don't know, it was just something about needing that comfort and God bringing these verses to me. But it was like that light bulb moment of saying, I take care of the birds, and the revelation was like, and I'm using you to do it. So I don't know. I'm just saying that there's stuff. I was talking to a brother the other night, and he was talking about us being faithful in the small things. We'll be faithful in the large things, and we generally think of that linearly. Well, if you do the small thing, then when the big thing comes up, but it could be that small thing that you're doing, that's, you have no idea the things that you're changing, and we know with this whole quantum situation, the way that the world is, that we don't know how it's being done, but we know that there are things that are changing. It leads me to believe that we are way more powerful than we realize. And you can be scared by some of this stuff and see that some of it seems to have a nefarious attitude or whatever, but it seems that God's trying to wake us up to the fact that the decisions that we make, and the choices that we, if we just listen to that still small voice, it echoes throughout eternity. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but we can change. We are way more powerful than we know. And I constantly fight that voice that tells me that I'm nothing, that tells me that I'm unlovable, and it's just constantly speaking to me. And whenever I think about that, I think about, I believe it's in Revelation, where God said, those that believe the lie, I don't want to misquote it, and I know that verse means more than that. That hopefully I'll put it up, but the thought came to my mind before about there's this war going on all the time inside of us, and a lot of times the thing within me is telling me that I'm worthless. It's trying to remind me that I'm nothing, right? And I know that it's a lie, but sometimes that lie is so loud that it's just beating me down, and it leads to self-destructive behavior, or just not taking care of the things that I need to take care of, and that's slightly self-destructive. But that if I believed that lie, it's quite possible I could start behaving as some of those that I've seen around me. I don't know. I'll probably edit this out. Anyway, now it ain't nothing. It won't zoom. Nothing but pigeons and squirrels. And chop. Anyway. Peace and tranquility. And squirrel! Woosa. Psalms 24:1. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it. The world and all its people belong to Him. That verse came to mind this morning as I was scrolling through Facebook, because I deal with just stress and worry and stuff because of some of the things that, y'all know all the stories. And in the last video that I made, having all these questions and examples of whatever this world is, I hope that it didn't look like I was in like a state of fear, because it's not. There's just these things that tug at my spirit, like impossible synchronicities. Last night, I've been slowly thinking about how to write a book of the story of Paul. I mentioned it before, but in modern times. And it plays like a movie in my head. But to actually write the story, you have to develop the characters in detail. Priscilla and Aquila, the other people that I'm drawing a blank, but all the people that Paul meets along his journey, and start with them, because Paul is actually, it would be a little bit easier to develop that character. So anyway, as I'm really thinking about the most minute details of Priscilla and Aquila, and who they would be in modern times, like what their job would be for this era. I'm deep in thought of how they interact with each other, and just everything about their character, and so I stopped after just dwelling on that thought process, and I opened my Instagram, and I follow Philia Ministries, James and Lee, and they happy biblical New Year. It's a new year. And there was a post that said something about Happy New Year, so far so good. You get it? And the only other person that had commented on that was someone named Priscilla. And so look, that's not some wild, synchronicity, but it's like, what are the chances of that? Like, what is this place? And so I take it back to Psalms 24:1. I have seen things. I mean, those people that are Mandela affected and see changes and shifts in reality, there does seem to be a sort of hijacking, like something is trying to control a world that does not belong to it. The enemy does have power to give things to those that are under his authority. because they've rejected the authority of Christ. But you can still see that the world doesn't belong to Satan, and he seems to just want to corrupt everything. So anyway, the thing with the verse in Psalms, I was thinking the other day about just reality, right? And what this place is. Still have that question, because it's not what they tell us. And the way that things change, and the way that people seem to get aggravated or angry whenever you bring it up, or you do like the whole Mandela question, but they don't catch on to it at first, so they kind of expose that they remember the residue, and then they realize what you're doing, they get mad, right? So it's a spiritual thing. And at first, years ago, it was like really scary that the way the world just changes all of a sudden. But I started thinking, thank God for that. I mean, the way that reality is changing, if all things work to the glory of those that love God, then everything around you could be crumbling. I mean, it could look disastrous, like real deal, like terror in the sky is falling, like raining down on us. Yet, the reality of reality is that God is in control. Like, it doesn't matter what it looks like. I still struggle with fear and things. I've seen demonic presence, and it's something so powerful that, as just a mere mortal, like when you have that sort of experience, it doesn't, it's forever seared into your mind. And so I'm just saying, I have fear like everyone else, but whatever this place is, like God is, like, I know that reality is kind of malleable, and it shifts and changes, but it's that it happens so quick and so subtly, interestingly enough, that if you're not looking for it, you won't see it. And if that's all that you're looking for, you'll miss the purpose of all of it. But it's working to the glory of the Father, even if you don't understand the plan. So I suggest, everyone to spend some time with Him. So there was another verse someone had posted, and it was about seeking God, and I'm so bad with it. I'm not good at quoting. Just, it is written. But the verse was about those seeking the Father, and He's given us, wisdom and understanding in that. And so maybe there's, I don't know. I mean, there's something that holds a lot truer than I think that we realize. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that, another random thought. Oh, the other thing, I struggle with like PTSD because of some of the demonic experiences that I've had. And all the examples that I've given of people interacting with something, some sort of manifestation, and then being happy with it, from the cops to family members, they always had to take a back seat to whatever it was to allow it to work. And that is held true. I've just seen that over and over and over. Not that you can't be touched physically, like someone could reach out and harm you, but I think that they have a better understanding of the actual like consequences of that. Those that are working for darkness seem to understand the consequence of like actually harming someone, and it is God, it is the power of the Father, that there will be he that kills with the sword must also be killed by the sword. I know that's Old Testament, but I'm just saying, it's as if they know, so they present sin as an option, and if the person takes on the sin, it seems like this manifestation comes about to seeking whom he may devour. I think that's realer than most people realize, because I've seen it. But this PTSD thing, right? So I have issues sleeping, and and even with a dog that watches guard, and a barricade my doors, and shower with weaponry and stuff like that, and just because it makes me feel safer, as if something in a state of vulnerability, if something were to happen in that, I would be able to react. But I was thinking about that the other day, that God's like, I'm having this conversation with God about it. Like, you know that my faith is in you, and I know that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. It's just like a comfort. It's a teddy bear, you know. Because every time these people that could have done harm, they had to take a back seat to whatever that thing was. And it was by the grace of God that I wasn't consumed by whatever it is. And so in this, I don't know, I guess the point that I'm trying to get across is, there's like this, I still deal with fear all the time, but it's like these subtle whispers from you know, of fear around me. It's like, focus on the physical, you know, like you could be in physical danger, which causes stress, and there's no immediate threat there, you know what I'm saying? But as I was really my other point to it was this. So I'm going through it, I'm thinking this, I'm having this conversation with God and about this, like, it's not a physical threat, and he brings to me the how many times were they plotting to kill Jesus? I've seen small synchronicities to just certain things jumped out at me at points in my life to many different characters in the Bible. Please don't think that I'm comparing myself to Jesus, but it was like, as I was going through this and having this dialogue between me and God, the my time has not yet come thing. It was like, and it really related to the story of Paul, because I've heard on several different occasions throughout my life, from different pastors, some on TV, some in Hammond, some all over the place, that many of them have come to the conclusion that Paul knew that he wasn't going to die until he got to Spain. He maybe he didn't know in the beginning, but it's like, after he's like, you know, he's writing to different towns, and I can't wait to see you, this or that, and he's like, I'm going to Rome, but I got to get to Spain. It's like he knew. And so in this dialogue with God, even though there's this irony of physical weaponry that will do nothing to any of the things that I saw when I was seeing manifestations, it's like that's a thing of fear, and this isn't me like trying to provoke anything. I learned that early on with that short bus poltergeist video that I made, that if you notice, the day after that I was freaking out, and Ron had to leave Scarab's thing to come talk to me because things were going on, but it was like I provoked something. So I'm not trying to provoke anything or poke anything in the eye. I'm only saying that in this dialogue between me and the Father, that it was like, there are things that have to come to pass. Why are you even worrying about if you know what I mean? Like you're gonna be fine, and that all that is just a waste of energy and negative. So I don't know. I hope that made a little bit of sense. Yeah. All right. God bless.
If I remain perfectly still, I will be able to attack.
Oh man.
Blessed be your name in the land that is plentiful, where your streams of abundance flow. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name when I'm found in the desert. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be your name when the sun's shining down on